Morning from Nome House in Zozo, Lofa Liberia. This is Alternative and a Morning News Program. Today is September 9, 2000. Today is September 7, 2017. Stories we follow on today's edition. National Elections Commission introduces new method of voting for visually impaired voters. The Zolai Community Bank manager calls on young people to disengage from violence and vote based on issues. Away from home, protesters in Togo demands the end of glass Simbi route in Lomé. Welcome back. We now lift our first story. The head of program at the Pentecostal Mission Unlimited PMU Liberia and the program officer has jointly disclosed the new method for disabled voters, especially those who are visually impaired. Mr. Davertus T. James and Emmanuel Bay together explained that the Tata ballot guide will enable disabled to make their own choice comes October 10. They noted that with the Tata ballot guide, the number of invalid votes from disabled voters will be reduced, expressing follow. The heads of the Pentecostal Mission Unlimited Liberia explained the 6 steps in the electoral process and the distinction between the presidential and representatives ballot papers.
One of the specific issues, if you ask the question, is one, we want our people to understand the voting steps. This time,
step. The first thing first is on October 10 election date. Our people will go there. Those who register as pay your voter registration card. And the National Election Commission staff will direct people to those various polling centers in a specific area. In this year, particularly where we are sitting now, you have 2 polling centers. Those 2 polling centers will have a distinct number. Like if your voter registration card has the last 3 digits 1, 2, 3, and Emmanuel, my colleague, voter registration card has the last 3 digits 4, 5, 6. We might not go to the same polling center. We'll go to a specific polling center, right? Yes. Specific polling center. So going to the specific polling center, this is how we're going to enter. So having identified your number to the specific polling center, then you go directly into the hall. When you get directly into the hall, what you do is to display your voter registration card. Your voter registration card, one is displayed to the queue officer, then you enter and go to step 1. Step 1 is where you will now take your card to check mark it into the voter register. Once it's check marked into the voter register, you go to the next step. The next step is to verify. And once it is verified, you go to step 3, again the ballot paper. There are 2 types of ballot paper in these elections. We have ballot paper for president, which is red, and a ballot paper for representative, which is green.
Okay, thank you again. You see, many people have been asking the question, how are the blind going to vote? And some are asking whether they will be allowed to go inside with the blind persons. The answer is no. This time there is something that has been prepared by NET. It's called the Tata ballot guide. That will help the blind to vote without any help. It is Tata ballot guide. Okay. It will help the blind to vote without any help. Now it is made. It is straight, very equal with the ballot paper. It is equal to the ballot paper. Now you just put the ballot paper inside the guide. You close it because it has a hole on it. Okay. What you need to tell the blind brothers or the sister is you should know the number of their candidate. As long as you know that number, you can even close your eye and just touch, because there's a hole on the guide that is strictly placed on each of the candidates. You can feel it hole. Okay. So the blind brothers or the sister can just check, even their eyes is closed, just check and go down. If they know the number that my candidate is number 5, then they can punch in either check in or punch in their finger, they will go directly to the box of their candidate. Okay. So they can vote without any help.
The voices of the officials of the Pentecostal Mission Unlimited Library. The manager of the Zola Community Bank in Lofa County has called on young people to desist from violence and violence-related issues during the ongoing campaigning activities and the pending October 10, 2017 elections. Appearing on the Alternative Breakfast Show on Wednesday, Mr. Jackson Yerkerson said whatever violence that erupts during and after the elections will mainly affect the young people in several negative ways.
Let me firstly say this: young people, for whatever we do, whether negative or positive, it is going to affect us. Let's keep focused. Let's keep Liberia first. Let's keep Lofa County first. Years of this week. Most often, we see young people involved in many of the activities. When it comes to violence, it's basically centered around young people, and it affects us. Okay, it is not going to affect the 60-year-old, 70-year-old person as compared to we young people. You are 20, like for instance, the civil crisis we had. Those who were in their 20 during the civil crisis, they were 34 when we started enjoying peace. They had to plan for their life. The war automatically affected them in that regard. They were just reaching to their age of development and the working and eruption. They were affected greatly.
The voice of the bank manager of the Zola Community Bank. Also speaking on using cash by canonists to win votes, Mr. Yerkerson said much positive outcomes in past and present elections have not been felt as a result of using cash to influence electors. He added politicians need to change that mental and focus on issues that are cardinal to the interest of Liberians and the country in particular. Mr. Yerkerson, who is also an economist, marinated that the inflation rates during elections have also been associated with the infusing of cash by politicians to win the votes of the electors. According to the Zola Community Bank boss, just as electors are not responding to cash but voting for canonists based on what they can financially offer, the canonists are also getting smarter, as 2017 elections so far has seen less money being used or given to the electors during their ongoing campaign.
In my own view, more especially from the background in which I hail from, let me carry us back to the 1997 election. That election was considered to be money election at the time. The economy was infused with cash, where we saw inflation peaking effect. We saw more money chasing super years ago. Not as compared to 2005. 2005 election, yes, that was also cash. That was a issue of cash. It was not as compared to 97. And 2011 was not also as compared to 2005. Now it's 2017. And in 2017, the expectation of Liberian people is that in the electionary process, every electionary process, there should be a cap. That's the expectation. Unless those elections like 1997 election, comparing that with today 2017 is far because 2017 as we expected. Liberians expect no inflow of cash, no infusion of cash into our economy. It's not happening that way. But you see, for every consumer as a whole, consumers are very smart people. They react to every situation. I mean, politicians normally thought of using cash to convince people, but now that's available is changing. We saw 2005 wherein Senator Van Sherman, this man was considered to be the cash guy in the election, and he did spend the cash, but he saw it the distance he covered. So politicians are studying this point. This man used more cash, and we saw the distance he covered. And if you put in more cash, where will we go? I do agree that for every process there's a cash. Okay. I do agree. But the cash infusement into our economy in this election is not as compared to 2005, it's not as compared to 1997. You come today, you spend your money, as I made mention of. Vamos ali, they spend the cash in Moscow, and we saw the result, but we are still money. So people what you put on the floor now in cash. What we have been doing in the past, elections that have been passing, elections that are about to come, and we are getting more advanced on a daily basis. Today, you can sit back and say, only election time I'll go and spend my cash. Like no will good for you. And you can't spend your cash, will not good for you.
The voice of Mr. Jackson Forkpa, the boss of the Zola Community Bank. The World Conference of Mayors Trade and Investment Conference to be hosted by Detroit Mayor Michael Edward Duncan has chosen Pittsville City Mayor Miss Kaveti Gibson to address the landmark conference in America's Motor City. The conference will convene from October 23 to the 27, 2017 at the world-class McGM Grand Hotel Resorts in Detroit, Michigan, the US of A. The Pittsville City Mayor was chosen for her relentless efforts in bringing sustainable development to the people of Liberia's largest geographic city. Ms. Gibson will speak on the theme sustaining growth and development in 21st century cities, Detroit, the city that never surrendered. Mayor Gibson's presentation will highlight the important role city administrators from small cities in developing nations play in sustaining growth and development. The sharing of a success story in Pittsville will enable other mayors to enhance their strategy in maintaining growth and development. Mayor Kaveti Gibson, together with Mayor Rita Dobika of Zwedu City, will lead a elaborate delegation to the Detroit Conference. The landmark forum will also discuss trade and investment opportunities between 21st century cities with the goal of increasing commercial links among cities. Investors will meet with cities administrators and entrepreneurs from around the world to determine synergies in business development. The World Conference of Mayors was formed in April 1984. The global institution began as the brainchild of one of the United States' most committed public servants, the Honorable Johnny Ford, who was then president of the National Conference of Black Mayors Incorporated. The Front Page Africa Online has reported that with the clock on the October pulse fast-ticking, international bodies and partners to Liberia are becoming keener on the activities leading to a historic event that will witness the third post-war democratic elections after the 2005 and 2011 pulse. The election will see for the first time in several decades an incumbent president in Madam Erin Johnson Sirleaf handing over power peacefully. The African Union AU, a body with far bigger interest in the peaceful assistance of Liberia, is amongst the array of institutions and nations showing concern in the October presidential and representatives elections. The AU is bringing in a permanent observer mission to follow through the process leading to October. During a call on the chairman of the National Elections Commission, NEC, on Monday, September 4, AU Ambassador to Liberia, Abraham Karama, thanked the NEC for the many good works leading to the elections. Ambassador Kamara assured NEC Chairman Jerome Kokoya of the AU's support to the process. He said because of the importance AU attaches to the Liberian elections, the body has extended its mandates in the country pending the outcome of the election. AU is passionate to witness the turning over of the baton to whoever will be elected by the Liberia people on October 10, 2017, Ambassador Kamara emphasized. The standard bearer of the Coalition for Democratic Change, CDC, Ambassador George Weah, has promised to create more jobs if elected as president of Liberia. Trust me, I'm the only candidate in the presidential race that will make you earn your money, Weah said. Ambassador Weah made this pledge Tuesday at the launching of the party's campaign at the David Kuyen Sports Stadium on Tuesday in Banga, Don County. He said the focus of his presidency, if elected, will be job creation, entrepreneurship, and industrialization. The Coalition for Democratic Change standard bearer explained that most of the jobs will be created through agriculture and skills acquisition, adding that agriculture will be moved from subsistence to commercial agriculture. He said that if elected president, he will make entrepreneurship a way of life, as well as recognize the role of technical and vocational training. The Coalition for Democratic Change standard bearer said his administration will give prominence to women empowerment and ensure that some investment training was specifically tailored for women. The voice of Ambassador Josh Barnett were standard bearer Coalition for Democratic Change. Speaking at a Bond County Senator and Vice standard bearer of the CDC, Joel Howard Taylor, while introducing were to the crowd, said that the CDC was prepared for the presidency. Senator Taylor stressed that Weah was not an apprentice but a committed person concerned about the development of Liberia. The chargé d'affaires and head of the Liberian mission in Ghana, newly appointed ambassador of Liberia to Sierra Leone, Musu Riuli, and her entourage paid a courtesy visit to the headquarters of the Liberian Students Association in Ghana, in Bonaburin, with the intent of taking a pictorial view of their mini library. She was warmly welcomed with colorful flowers that were presented to her by a female student on behalf of the student community. Speaking on behalf of Lisa GH, outgoing President D. Christopher Flomo expressed gratitude to Madam Ruli for her true sense of humility, collaboration, and dedication shown to the Liberian mission in Ghana. He said, amid the numerous challenges facing the association, he and his executives work assiduously to create an enabling environment that fosters students' participation from a holistic dimension. Mr. Flomo said he has served well with the best of intentions for God and for his noble institution. He ended his speech by emphasizing on the individual dimension of the national pledge, which for him calls for a stronger sense of patriotism and commitment to national development. In addressing the student body and community leaders, Madam Ruli expressed deep profound thanks to everyone for unexpected farewell celebration. She narrated that her career as a diplomat began in 1998 in Ghana and got involved with Lisa GH in 2013. Since then, she has enjoyed every moment working with the student community. She further encouraged female students to dream high and to dream big because any of them could be the next Erin Johnson Sirleaf of Liberia. Finally, away from home, tens of thousands of people have marched through the streets of Togo's capital, Lomé, protesting against President Faure Gnassingbe. The number of demonstrators is said to be unprecedented. The internet has been severely restricted. A government concession to introduce a two-term presidential limit through a constitutional amendment failed to dissuade the protesters. They want Mr. Gnassingbe, who has been in power since 2005, to step down. He became president after the death of his father, Gnassingbe Iyadema, who has been at the helm for 38 years. Protesters are calling for the end of the Gnassingbe's dynasty. Government spokesperson Gilbert Bagwara told a local radio station that there was an ongoing internet restriction. Even in most developed countries, authorities take control of telecommunications in some cases, he said. AFP News Agency reported that mobile internet had been shut down in the capital, but added that Wi-Fi networks were still working. BBC Africa's Atta Ahili Hibli reports that demonstrations took place in many cities and that more are planned for Thursday. He adds that a decision by the cabinet to propose a constitutional change to bring about a presidential term limit has not changed the protesters' plans. The protests were organized by a coalition of opposition parties and civil society organizations. Amnesty International estimated that 100,000 persons marched in Lomé, many wearing the white, orange, and pink colors of opposition parties as they chanted Free Togo. So, folks, with this, we'd like to draw down here on this early morning news presentation. But before leaving, let me recap the big stories making up the headlines. National Elections Commission introduces new method of voting for visually impaired voters. The Sorai Community Bank manager calls on young people to disengage from violence and vote based on issues. Protesters in Togo demand the end of Grand Singui rule in Lomé. Thanks to Mr. James Kwabo, who edited and side control, and James Yerkerson presented. Good morning.